welcome to our very first episode of Checking In with Chief, where we get together monthly to talk about various topics and give you the opportunity to get your questions answered by our very own Command Chief. Chief Green?
I did not want to miss the opportunity because Master Sergeant Hyatt would choke me if I missed this opportunity to sit down in front of this camera and be able to have a open conversation with you. And really, this is a series of many conversations we're going to have in the future. My goal here is in this pandemic, and we're already doing Zoom quite a bit. I don't get an opportunity to get out and meet everybody, so I figured, you know what, I'll put myself out there a little bit. We'll get on this Zoom box thing, and I really just want to know what your challenges are, what I can do to help you in your mission, and learn a little bit along the way.
All right. So episode 1 is titled Welcome, Chief Green. We wanted to take this chance to allow you to introduce yourself to the Enterprise Airmen so they can get to know you a little better.
I'm Anthony Green. I still feel like a young crew chief, although there's parts of me don't feel young anymore as I'm getting a little older, but I feel like a young crew chief on the flight line sometimes. And but I really love what I do. You will hear me say this over and over. This position that I'm very fortunate to be in, and I take very seriously is the fact that I get to support the Air Force Expeditionary Center Airmen, and I'm very proud of that. I've had a unique career. Although a crew chief, I've kind of done some unique jobs along the way, and that's really why I like this Expeditionary Center, this Air Force Expeditionary Center, is because we have so many unique jobs going on all around the world. We're actually hitting every single geographic combatant command. That's amazing. And our airmen do it every single day, and they do it with ease. So me coming into this position, I can't tell you how much I am excited about that. I get to share this career with my beautiful wife, Sarah, and every once in a while we get the crew together. It was great, not just recently over the holidays, to get the family together and be able to spend some time together. But truthfully, I spent 25 years in this career, and what I realized is over time, just like many of our airmen in our Air Force, they left home probably when they were young or maybe later on in life, and then you miss out on going to all the aunts' houses or the grandma's houses for dinner. But somehow along the way, this family, this team that you're part of in the Air Force, the U.S. Air Force, become that family. And really, that's what I see as my family. I'm really happy and proud to be, like I said, proud to be in this position. I really look forward to working with you.
For people to get a better understanding of who you are at the Corps, can you share your life passion as well as your Air Force passions?
I remember thinking, someone asked me about, I think it was 10 years ago, said, hey, Anthony, what's your leadership philosophy? And I remember thinking, oh, do I supposed to have one of those leadership philosophies? Let me go read a book. I'll Google that, so I'm figuring out. But, and then I thought back and I started feeling bad. I was like, oh, wow, what is my goal in life? What's my big goal in life? And it drove me to do some deep thoughts. Y'all probably had some of those moments in your life where, well, what am I doing? So it was me. I was there. And I remember thinking, what is most important to me? If you're going to look at what your leadership philosophy or maybe what your drive is, what's most important to you? It was easy for me. It is people. I am an extrovert. I love people. I love seeing people be successful. I love being part of a successful team. And then that's really why I love what I do so much in the Air Force, is because there's the potential to have a phenomenal team. Now, I said there's a potential because that's a little bit of responsibility on all of us within that team to continue to cultivate that. But man, I don't think what we have in the military at large is an opportunity to be part of something so much bigger than ourselves. And what I realize that I value more than anything is being a team player on that team, helping people along the way, getting after something such as grand as our nation's business, the defense of our nation. It can't get any more grand than that. And I take a lot of pride in that. So one is people. I love people. And as a command chief, I think this goes back to just being a senior NCO. There's a couple things I've always thought of along the way. One of them is really getting after the development of myself and the people around me. How can I help them have the tools and have the needs that they need to be, or really the tools and efforts to make them the best airmen they can be, whether it be within their AFSC or maybe it's a additional duty job they have that they're required to do. What can I help them with getting to be the best they can be, and then that really through development. You can take that from professional development through our core development through the Air Force, or you could take that personal development and how we expand our thought processes and start expand our minds and getting after our personal development. But that's one thing I'm passionate about, and I really get after that in a lot of ways, not only externally but internally, because I've got a lot of work to do on me, So, and the second portion of that, I would say that I really focus in on, and this is easier for me because of my background. Sometimes it's a challenge because we don't see this on a day-to-day basis, and it's readiness. Readiness is very big to me. It's very big right now. Look at Chief Master Sergeant Air Force Bass. She's her actually priorities right now. Her focus areas on people, readiness, and culture. So that readiness is extremely important. So as an airman, if I'm a young airman in the Air Force, what does that mean? That means, hey, making sure my core paperwork is done. My SGLI is done, things like that. Um, just making sure the basics are done. And then as a leader, as I start to develop myself more as a leader, enlisted leader in the Air Force, okay, what does that readiness mean for the squadron? How do we need to get after readiness in the organization? They started in 2018. They started talking about this high end fight. Well, what does that mean to me? How do I need to be ready? How do I need to posture my unit that I'm in, my small team, to be ready for that high end fight? And there's a lot of stuff going on right now within the Air Force. People are talking about ACE, Agile Combat Employment, or talking about MCA and multi-capable airmen. And those are new concepts and new ways of doing business that you'll see our Air Force transition to that high-end fight. Well, what does that mean? How can I stay ready? And I think that's important for me as an enlisted leader to stay on top of readiness, not just from the basic paperwork that we need to make sure that we're taken care of, but also where's our organization fitting in to that big picture, that big fight that we're going to have that we have in front of us. So readiness is very important to me. And then the last thing I would say that's extremely important to me is connectedness. It kind of gets after culture that the Chief Master Sergeant Air Force talks about quite often. Culture is the hardest thing that we can do, hardest thing that we can change. Sorry, hardest thing that we can change. It takes each and every one of us every single day really working on our culture to make it better over a long period of time. And I think connectedness is one of the things that we can really work on within our Air Force culture um, to make this more of a tight team. Let me give you an example. I think connectedness bridges a bunch of gaps that we have, or a bunch of seams that we have within our Air Force. About a year ago, when we started talking about um, the resiliency tactical pause, and we took a knee, if you would, across the Air Force to really get after suicidal ideations and challenges our airmen faced. Um, that was the first time I started thinking about that term connectedness and being connected to someone. And what that means is, hey, throughout the day, we spend more time, with the people to our left and right in our organization than we do with our own families. But sometimes when we're at the work center and we're getting after the job, we don't take the time just to get to know the people to our left and our right. Man, we missed a huge opportunity. So if you want a chance to get to know somebody, or get to know someone, or get a chance to talk to someone, you've got a chance all day long. It's not something that we have to really break out a bunch of time for. We've got opportunities all throughout the day just to do that. And I think that's what we need to work on. We need to work on that constantly, opening up and having conversations with people, being able for someone who is going through a tough time in their life, being able to talk to you because, well, y'all have already had some pretty tough conversations and y'all are already connected at a different level. Um, it's usually when we go through the toughest times of our life when we make the best friends. Well, if you got an opportunity right beside you every single day, you might as well take that opportunity to make some lifelong friends. And oh, by the way, they might be able to help you with something that's really challenging in your life. We all need that. We need people. We need that connectedness. And the second thing, if you look at racial disparity that we've had going on in the Air Force, And really our ability over so many years to kind of tuck things away like race and religion and politics and not talk about them because it was just so awkward in the work center, and we didn't want to create that awkwardness. Well, if we've been talking about that, it would be common. And when people felt like their voice wasn't being heard, they would actually speak up. Or if when people felt like they wasn't valued, they would actually feel empowered within a connected team to talk about that. And then it would just be natural for us. Well, that in my mindset, it's where we want to go in the Air Force. That's a connected Air Force. But it takes every single day just chatting with your buddies to your left and to your right. As you're moving forward with some of these challenging tasks that we have in the Air Force, sometimes it's just fun, sometimes it's challenging. But if we can stay connected to the people that we're having those challenges with or having that fun with, well, you're just going to be at a better place, because in those tough times in life, you got someone to talk to. Or when you just want to talk through something and get a different perspective, someone's not going to put up a bunch of barriers because, well, that's what we've done for so long, is put up barriers in efforts to talk about it. So that's really three things I'm passionate about, and I hope that we can continue to get better with that. Now, maybe I went off on a little tangent there, but you can tell that's something I really thought a lot about.
All right, so our last question's a fun one. We've been told you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, but you're also not a Tom Brady fan. So how do you reconcile the two?
That's a very tough one. First off, it is not Tampa Bay, it's Champa Bay. Okay, you got to say that right. Hey, so I am a very proud Champa Bay fan now. Um, but I will tell you, when Tom Brady moved to town, I was not happy. I was not a Tom Brady fan. And I will tell you that over the Super Bowl, I have to say that I was rooting for him a few times, and it cuts me. It cuts me deep. But I know they won't be able to keep him long. So eventually we're going to get a solid quarterback that I can get behind, and we're going to have that ultimate team. I am very proud of Tampa. I mean, I just come from MacDill Air Force Base. Very proud of that city. You know, they had a great year this year. You had the Lightning with the Stanley Cup. You had the Rays go to the World Series, and then Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl. I don't think it gets any better for a city. So what I'm hoping now is, now that we've moved up to um, Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst, that either the Giants or maybe the Jets or some other great football team up in this area gets to go to the Super Bowl, because that is a dream of mine to get to go to the Super Bowl. One of these days I will get to go. But I'm very proud of my Bucks.
All right, Chief. So that's all the questions that we have for you today. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share?
You know, I know this is not the most optimal way to get out and talk to people, but I also know that I won't have an opportunity to meet a lot of our airmen on a face-to-face basis. So if this just helps you get to know me a little bit more, or know what's going on in the Air Force Expeditionary Center, I will go through the pain of me being on a computer, or maybe your pain of me being on a computer, in efforts for you to just get to know me a little bit before maybe I show up in your neck of the woods. I can't tell you how excited and proud I am of what you do every single day. As we go around, it just amazes me what we're doing to get after our nation's business. And to see our airmen come together on a team that I've really strived to be on for a long time, and I'm finally on your team, man, we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. And if you don't understand where your role comes into play on this team, I want you to reach out to me. I hope over the next couple months, as we start making this more routine, you'll see some of those things. I want to highlight some of those things that we're doing. We're going to bolster our opportunities for you to kind of feel and see what we're doing in the Air Force Expeditionary Center.
All right, that's all we've got for episode 1. Thank you for joining us, and make sure to send any questions you have to our email address below, and make sure to follow us and like us on our social media accounts. Thank you. See you next time.
So don't laugh at me too bad, guys. Okay.
Okay.
You know, let me back up. Hey, let me back up.
Okay.
Balls.
Okay.
Okay, break.
Okay.
I'm doing this awkward dance.
Okay. All right, let me make sure I look okay.
Get your
Oh
herd.
my gosh, Ashley.